Welcome to this explainer. Today, we're diving into the Commonwealth Games, evolution, unity, and India's athletic ascension. We're going to trace exactly how a concept born entirely out of colonial ties transformed into a modern celebration of global equality. And along the way, we're going to follow the truly remarkable story of one specific nation's rise to becoming an absolute powerhouse within it.
To really grasp the weight of today's games, you kind of have to ask yourself a fascinating question. How in the world did a 19th century idea for an empire-wide sports day transform into this massive global celebration of diversity? Well, the answer actually lies in the shifting tides of history and the way international sports just have to adapt to the eras they existed.
Believe it or not, the initial seed was planted way back in 1891. Reverend J. Astley Cooper proposed a pan-empire competition to foster goodwill. Now, obviously, the world was vastly different back then. It actually took decades for his idea to truly materialize, with the very first event, which was officially named the British Empire Games at the time, finally launching in 1930.
And to put the explosive growth since that first 1930 event in Hamilton, Canada into perspective, it's absolutely breathtaking. What started with just 400 athletes from 11 nations competing in only 6 sports has completely ballooned. Today, overseen by the Commonwealth Games Federation, we're looking at 74 participating teams representing 56 member countries and territories. It's so big now that it even includes individual teams from the UK's constituent nations, as well as various overseas territories.
Now, this is where the narrative gets really interesting. Look at the character arc of the games themselves. As the global political landscape evolved and the world steadily shed colonialism, the event's identity had to change right along with it. It morphed from the British Empire Games all the way down to simply the Commonwealth Games in 1978. And this wasn't just some corporate rebranding, it was a really vital shift toward an association of independent, equal states coming together on a level playing field.
And as that identity shifted, so did its global footprint. The event broke right out of its traditional strongholds. A huge milestone hit in 1998 when Kuala Lumpur became the first Asian host, followed later by Delhi in 2010. Held every 4 years, the Games truly became this worldwide stage, moving across completely diverse continents and touching down in iconic cities from Auckland all the way to Birmingham.
Unsurprisingly, the earliest hosts and historical titans established a pretty long-standing dominance right out of the gate. Australia actually leads the all-time historical medal charts as the most successful nation in the history of the Games, followed very closely by England and Canada. For decades, this was just the deeply entrenched, established order of the sporting universe.
But hey, the games aren't purely about medal counts and intense athletic rivalry, right? There is a wonderfully cultural, joyous element to this story, too. Introducing official mascots in 1978 brought this incredibly colorful way to showcase the unique wildlife and spirit of each host city. I mean, from Matilda the kangaroo winking at crowds in Brisbane back in 1982 to Borobi the surfing koala at the Gold Coast and Perry the bull in Birmingham, these icons add such a rich, fun layer of local identity to the global broadcast.
So, let's move into our next section, India's athletic ascension, from participant to powerhouse.
Every great narrative needs an inciting incident, a moment where everything just shifts. For India, that legendary breakthrough came in 1958. At the Games in Cardiff, Wales, legendary sprinter Milkha Singh, famously known as the Flying Sikh, blazed to victory. He won India's first ever individual track and field gold medal in the 440-yard dash. It was a singular, massive moment of triumph that proved an incredibly important point. Indian athletes absolutely belonged on the top step of the podium.
In that momentum from 1958, it built slowly over the decades, eventually culminating in a massive crescendo during the historic 2010 Delhi Games. Competing on home soil, India delivered their absolute best performance ever, securing an astonishing, history-making haul of 101 total medals.
Breaking down that historic haul shows you exactly how dominant they were. 38 gold, 27 silver, and 36 bronze. Finishing second overall on the global medal tally wasn't a fluke. It proved they were a dominant force across a huge variety of sporting disciplines, officially disrupting that old global order we talked about earlier. So where did this dominance come from? It was fueled by a fascinating blend of brute strength and absolute laser precision. Indian athletes have ruthlessly ruled combat in strength sports like wrestling and weightlifting across multiple editions of the Games. And right alongside that physical power was the quiet, steady precision of the shooting ranges. Historically, shooting was a massive goldmine for the nation, led by absolute legends like Abhinav Bindra,
showcasing a completely different but equally masterful athletic skill set.
But the ascension didn't stop there. It spread right outward to the courts and the track. India has firmly cemented elite status in international badminton with modern icons like PV Sindhu stepping into the spotlight. And out on the field, the enduring legacy of Milkha Singh totally lives on. You see it in Neeraj Chopra's jaw-dropping javelin gold in 2018, and that historic 1-2 finish led by Eldo's Paul in the men's triple jump at Birmingham 2022.
And we absolutely cannot forget the cinematic triumphs in team sports. These are those gritty, edge-of-your-seat victories that just completely capture the public's imagination. In 2002, the Indian women's hockey team won a landmark gold, a victory so dramatic it actually inspired the massive hit pop culture film Chak De India. More recently, the women's cricket team claimed a historic silver at the 2022 Birmingham Games. These aren't just athletic achievements, they are genuine cultural milestones that inspire entire new generations of athletes back home.
Zooming back out from these incredible individual stories, we really start to see the broader picture. Whether it's emerging young stars getting their very first taste of international competition or seasoned Olympic champions returning to the podium, the Games transcend sports. They celebrate diversity, respect, and global community, providing a critical stage for strengthening international ties and inspiring millions worldwide through sportsmanship.
So from a 19th century empire's proposal to today's truly diverse showcase of global equality, the Commonwealth Games have constantly adapted to a changing world, giving rise to amazing new narratives and incredible powerhouses like India. It leaves us with a pretty compelling question to ponder. As the geopolitical map continues to shift in the 21st century, how will international sports evolve next to bridge our divides? Thank you so much for joining me on this explainer. Keep learning and keep questioning.